Hi and welcome back to Alex Saberia's YouTube channel. My name is Emily and in this video I will be creating two cards using the Floral Balloon Extravaganza, and this has the stamp set, the coordinating dies that you can see here on screen. So it's a really fun set to play around with. And I started off by taking out the flowers, or I should say the balloons that I wanted to use, and then I inked them up with Memento ink and used my Misty to get a good impression. And I like to have my stamps rest a little bit before doing my alcohol inking on top of them, so I decided to go ahead and do some hot foiling before I finished those balloons. And this is the Illuminated Night Sky hot foiling plate and die set. I will only use the hot foiling plate today, and I foiled it on top of some pink cardstock, and I love how that turned out. I just love the reveal as well. I think that is the best part of hot foiling. And then when the ink had dried a little bit, I went in with my Olo markers. That is a marker that is alcohol based. And I use some Nina cardstock. That is what I have in my stash and what I have the easiest to get my hands on. And I just scribbled a little bit. These flowers are really loosely drawn, so they are super simple to color in. I just used 2 markers or 3 markers here to get the shading that I wanted. And since they are so loosely colored, it doesn't matter exactly where you put down your darker and lighter colors. Just do whatever you feel like. I'm no expert at coloring, I just want to point that out. So I just went with what I thought looked good for all of these, and you should do the same. Copy this or do something else, because it was really easy to find a color combination that I liked and just pick 2 markers that were pretty close in shade, and then went to town just coloring in all of those. And what I liked with this was that it was quite easy to keep the colors consistent. So when I have them on my card, the colors will be there more than once, and I like that about a card project. I think that makes the card come together really easily. So I will speed this up for you, so you don't have to sit here all day watching me coloring this, because we have a lot more with these 2 projects than only the coloring. But they were really fun to be coloring in, so I hope you give it a try. And I will do the same thing here, just some flickering motions from the bottom of the paddle, from the leaves and to the tip. So when I was done with this, I went ahead and off camera cut out with the coordinating dies all of the balloons, and then I took the cut out part and created sort of a mask for my balloon. I just kept it in place with some post-it tape, and to the bottom here of my flower I will also use some low-tack adhesive tape. And then I just use a scrap piece of paper underneath, and then I will be using my inks and brushes to color in the balloons. You could use alcohol markers here as well, but I thought that this would be the easiest and fastest for me to color and get the transition between the 2 colors that I wanted to use. When I had done the first half, I just quickly removed all of things, moved the mask to the other side, masked everything off so I didn't mess up my coloring, and then I picked another color. Here is a yellow or orangey yellow color that plays nicely with that pinkish reddish color that we used first. And why I'm masking off is because this has a little tiny white border around, and I wanted that tiny white border to be there. If you don't care about the tiny white border, you don't need to do this masking technique, but I really like when you're die cutting that white edge is really white and no inks outside lines. So this was really easy, and it didn't take that much time. The mask was already created, and all I did was just move it when I wanted to switch the colors. And I didn't have too many balloons to color in either, so it went really fast. So here is the tiniest of the balloons, and it went super quickly. By the way, the brushes I'm using are from Trinity, and you can use whatever you have in your stash. And as I said, you could totally do this with your markers as well if you like. But you can see how nicely that turned out on top of our hot foiled background there. I will use some press and seal. That is something I always reach for when I'm creating cards. It's so easy to lay everything down and then just pop up the dimension. In the die set there is strings that will cut out the coordinating die. I just use the strings here. They will be a little bit like bigger, wider, but I liked it, and I love this gold cardstock. I think it coordinated nicely with that hot foiling that we did on the background. I raised everything up with some foam tape. And the liquid glue here is only for me to have some time to wiggle this around before it dries or stick to my card panel here. And then I can lay my balloons down, and we will have everything nicely in a cluster here. And I can then go in with some extra adhesive to raise my balloons up to give it even more dimension, and then put my strings down where I think they look nice. I just fibbled them in underneath the adhesive that I had on my balloons. I will finish this off with a sentiment in a second, but for my second card here I created a really simple one. I took the new Shiny Diamonds background, I held it in place with some low-tack adhesive, and then I took the same, this is some really light pink ink on top of really light pink inked cardstock here. I thought it was too heavily inked, so I will do a trick here where I'm going in with some white pigment ink on top. When everything had dried, I just laid my stencil back, and then it was a little bit lighter. For my sentiment, I cut out of vellum the nested stitched circle die. That is also a new one from Alex Iberia. And then I took my flower arrangement, put them to one of the sides, and then the sentiment that says Hooray in the middle. And that comes from the Congrats and Hooray die set. And then I bumped all of this up once more with some adhesive and put it down on top of a card base. And to finish off the first card that we created, I white heat embossed the Celebrate and It's Time to Celebrate on top of some pink cardstock that matched the product that we created. So here you can see a close-up of both of our card projects. I hope you got inspired to create something and to be creative and try to create your own masks for your stamps. And all of the products will be listed down below. And until next time, I hope you have a great day. Bye!